And now for something completely different.
Ooh.
So we're just skipping over the logos and the title screen. None of that shit. Get it out of here. Rip and tear. Let's go.
Time to start killing fucking everything.
Well, considering Doom Guy, if you're trying to be in character, I'm surprised you aren't skipping the cutscene too.
Well, now we have to wake up.
The cutscenes are great because
Man, Breath of the Wild is way more dark than I remember it.
Doom Guy, you must save Mars from the evil calamity demons.
The cutscenes are great though because like the way Doom Guy interacts with the story, there's a pretty serious story going on here, but the way he interacts with it is like he's just so pissed off he doesn't even care. So
no, he literally has no interest in what's going on. He just wants to fucking kill everything because that's the right thing to do in this situation.
I always read it as, oh, we're doing this rigmarole again. You know what? I'm fed up. I don't care what you've got to say, mysterious voice person. And then he throws the monitor across the.
And your candles are tacky and the wrong scent.
Who lit all these candles?
Yeah, and then there's tons of lore to read.
Yes, bow to me.
Oh, great and holy box, we pray to your wisdom.
Yeah.
Praise be to Doom Guy.
If you pray to loot,
that's me. They're praying to me.
If you pray to Lootbox will infest your game with microtransactions.
Now,
remember me.
I realized.
High thinly veiled reference to Doom 3.
I realized that the outfit is going for something akin to the classic Doom Guy look from the original games, but like the way it was designed, it comes out looking a bit Master Chief.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing.
Well, to be fair, Master Chief is kind of based on Doom Guy to begin with.
Yeah, somewhat. It's just like
Doom Guy if he calmed down just a bit.
It's just like
just a bit.
You could always see a bit more of the man under the armor in the original Doom Guy design, so. It's a little weird seeing him all armored up. Although I say seeing him, you see the armor from outside for about 2 seconds, so it really doesn't matter. Still, it's just something that struck me.
Doom Guy is just Doom Guy in this game.
Yeah.
Well, this is our first Doom game for the BSC, so I think it's only appropriate. What do you guys know about Doom? How long have you known about the series? What was your first game if you've ever played?
I know nothing, so yeah.
I mean, we all know about the series kind of just as gamers by proxy.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of not the first. That was kind of Wolfenstein's thing.
Yeah, it was the same company. So.
Yeah, the first like really important first-person shooter. So I've played a little bit of like the first one and their like expansions and stuff on PC, but that's about it. It's always been kind of like I've fiddled with them, but not very much.
Yeah, I am on a similar boat, honestly, because I've seen the first game plenty of times on different consoles everywhere.
On everything.
Because Doom is very much like Final Fantasy IV or I guess Rayman 2, was it? Or,
Rayman 2, yeah.
It's been on everything. I first seen it on the PlayStation. My mom used to work at a bar that wasn't too far from the house, but the bartenders and barkeeps would just play Doom all day when it was slow.
Got a shotgun.
I think I seen it in action at 32X, but then after that it was primarily PC.
Who's
which is
played
weird
Doom
because
on the TI-83 calculator?
No, it's just weird because I hear the 32X version is actually really good.
That was how I was introduced to it. Actually, it's a pretty damn good port. I seem to remember the music being missing.
I think the music is missing in that port. It's just a very small thing you kind of omit when it comes to ports of a game. Just completely omit the soundtrack.
Well, I mean, the only song anyone knows from Doom is do do doom do 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 do.
Well, it has
which
good
is
music.
Metallica for the record.
Yeah, it has good music. It has DOS's fuck music, but good music. It's really really catchy, and I think people tend to forget that Doom was pretty scary by gaming standards at the time.
It made all the parents freak the fuck out.
That too, yes. So Doom 3 got a bit of a bad rap for going all dark and atmospheric and stuff.
Can't see anything.
I don't think Doom 3 is a bad game. It's pretty good. It's just that there were games coming out around that time that were doing the same kind of thing better.
I would say the re-releases of Doom 3 is a better experience.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't they okay, so I only know... Yeah, the flashlight thing. Like, I only know about Doom from secondhand experience because I haven't played this game, although I kind of regret a recent purchase decision. I was like, okay, I can either buy Resident Evil Revelations Collection on Switch or Doom. I went with Resident Evil, and I'm regretting that at the moment.
Well,
I think.
to be honest, the Switch port is not great. I mean, they did a good job, apparently, considering what the hardware is capable of.
I know that there's frame rate stuff, but
it's one of those. The only reason to own it on the Switch is if you really want to have it on the go.
Yeah, that was Elliot's reasoning because he also owns it for the PS4. We did a Let's Play of it on SGB, but considering I've seen both versions firsthand, the Switch version honestly isn't that bad. The frame rate's cut in half and it doesn't look as good, obviously, but it's really not bad.
It's perfectly functional.
Yeah, I would say that the frame rate is a bit more of a loss in this kind of game than, say, Resident Evil 7. Because I just got finished recording a session of that before we started here, and the way Doom Guy moves in this game compared to that is like Sonic speed. So,
I want to see someone play this game with like hypersensitivity and just jittering like he's on a caffeine high.
I mean, you can kind of play it like that anyway, but
all you need to do for that is watch someone play it with a mouse. That's what every first-person shooter looks like with a mouse.
Or like the speed runs where they're just bouncing around all over the place.
Like, I know people really like the precision of aiming in first-person shooters with a mouse, and I can see that. I played a bit of
Wood!
in the right kind of game, I like it, but watching someone play that way is kind of weird because the character moves and aims so unnaturally. It's like they're jittering around like the nurses from Silent Hill. But yeah. So anyway, I love the map system in this game. It reminds me so much of Metroid Prime.
Honestly, when they said like scanning
a little
complete,
less
the first
3D,
thing I
yeah.
thought was Metroid 2 at the very beginning.
So yeah, we're on Mars.
You're
Yay.
not scanning things left and right, but there are lore entries to pick up, and they're pretty in-depth. Also, no fall damage.
Nope.
Doom Guy's suit apparently has impact.
No fall damage, but you do stagger a bit
Yeah.
on the landing, which can be a death sentence if you're on top of a booby trap.
Yeah. Now, just as a heads up, this is an all-secrets/collectibles run.
Oh, excellent.
Okay.
I don't get every combat challenge because I missed 2 via poor planning or just bad luck, and by the final level I just said screw it at that point.
Yeah.
Honestly, isn't that always a crutch though when it comes to these kind of games, like for Let's Play's sake? You know, because right now I'm recording Bayonetta for SGB.
Oh,
and
dude,
on the back of my
dude, that sounds
on the back
miserable.
of my mind. On the back of my no, you see, look, I love Bayonetta 1. I know there are things about it that haven't aged well, and that's why I
know.
prefer
Well,
Bayonetta 2.
I'm not saying like it's bad. Well, I didn't personally
but going
enjoy
after the
Bayonetta,
secret
but going after
missions is
the
miserable.
secrets is what I was talking about.
Yeah, the Alpheum in the back of my mind, I am constantly wondering, it's a goddamn curse. Am I going to miss an Alpheum portal somewhere?
'Cause if you-
and I almost did twice.
That kind of stuff isn't bad if you're tackling it over a period of months and on your own goddamn time. For us Let's Players or for video game journalists, that kind of secret design is a pain in the fucking ass.
Because that wastes so much of your time having to go back to it.
And
Trying
not to
to
mention
get it all-
if your job is, for example, the 100% guide or whatever.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Hi, Gerard.
Trying to get it all in a short space of time is what makes it miserable. If you're able to pace yourself, that kind of design is fine. But well,
Now, secrets in this game pertain to these. I guess one of them is the little Doom Guide things that you can find.
Yeah, Doom
Yeah.
Guy
When you can
collectibles,
fist
log
bump.
collections,
the little
things like that.
Funkos or
Yeah, they think. Oh, don't call them Funkos.
No
Why are you
Funko.
going to diminish the quality by calling
well,
them
there's another
Funkos?
brand which is more appropriate, but I can't remember what it is.
I don't recall.
The
but,
door,
is it the-
which
like
is
the-
made by
like
Funko
little-
as well.
Oh, shit.
Thankfully, in this game, unlike a lot of others, every secret and challenge can be done on your first run through of the map.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you never need to come back with the weapon you get later on or something like that.
But you can
You do-
go
but you
back
do need to know it's
but you
there.
can go back to later levels with other weapons
Yeah.
for shits and
Yeah.
giggles. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can go back at any time. Once you're in the level select menu between stages, you can go replay anything anytime. And you're probably going to, because on your first blind run of this game, you are not going to find everything. You can try all you like, but you're not going to find everything. I love the level design in games like Doom. And, you know, I was quoted at one point saying, like, ages and ages ago that I hate first-person shooters. Doom and games like it that came out in recent years, which I found out about mostly through Total Biscuit, are the games that reminded me that I didn't always hate first-person shooters, and there were things about them when I played them as kids that more recent games just weren't doing, and that's why
these
I
are the
lost
kinds
interest.
of first-person shooters I really like, not so much the online. I slept with your mom, T-Bat, 360 no-scopes, competitive stuff.
Well, I'm fucking garbage at multiplayer first-person shooters, so I just don't care about those. It's the half-assed hyperlinear, really cinematic.
So you mean the multiplayer shooters half-assed attempts at
basically the
modes.
Call of Duty craze caused me to have the Call of Duty and Halo craze, I should say, because it happened around the same time. Caused me to have this weird misremembered perception of first-person shooters from my childhood, and I didn't break out of that until later.
I think this game has the benefit of being released when there was a bit of a first-person shooter lull. I wouldn't say it didn't go away completely because first-person shooters are still. I wouldn't say it dominant, but
not anymore. I wouldn't say
not as well.
Last generation was when they were massively.
If this game
populated.
came out like 5 or 6 years ago, I don't think it'd have as much buzz as it does if it's now.
Yeah.
Well,
or it wouldn't be as appreciated.
Yeah, you've got a point there, because there were a few good ones that came out around the time you're talking about. Another Wolfenstein game, which was pretty good.
I heard that both
right.
of the Wolfenstein reboots were good.
Yeah, and you don't hear that much about Shadow Warrior 2013, but it's a good game. It's a damn good game. I recommend it to anyone who likes this kind of shooter.
But it was unfortunately released when first-person shooters were everywhere, and it just kind of blended in with the crowd.
Somewhat, yeah.
Yeah.
But
yeah, because I think this is a great game. I love how in your face it is. I'm all about that kind of a video game. Every time I see the little green armor pick up on the floor, I think you're picking up cash. I'm playing way too much Smash
it does kind of
TV.
look like it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Doom
Now,
Bucks, only product by Doom Guy.
Oh, I love Doom Bucks.
One of the things that sets Doom apart from other first-person shooters is that most of the enemies either use slow-moving projectiles to attack you or melee. What this means is you don't need a cover system, because there's nothing to take cover from. The projectiles move slowly enough that you can avoid them by moving to the side. And the enemies, they have to get within range to attack you. And Doom does a good job of making the enemies really deadly in spite of that. The thing is, I like this kind of design a bit better for single-player shooters, because, with hit scan detection, it makes sense when you're playing against a human, because they have to aim at you. The computer, basically, if you're out in the open when they fire, you're going to get hit. It gets a little ridiculous. So Doom has won quite a bit of my goodwill by not doing the hit scan thing in single player.
The other good thing about that, I believe, compared to more multiplayer-focused ones, is that there's no regenerating health.
Yeah.
You can get health pickups that are scattered throughout the level if you want. And there's always some small ones around combat zones. But the way to get health back is to perform these gory kills on enemies, get them to a low enough health, and then you can go up and melee them to kill them. This encourages continuing to fight rather than hiding in a corner and waiting for your health to fill up.
Yeah. And, everyone and their mother has praised the glory kill system for being so quick and snappy rather than gratuitous and slow like a lot of these melee kill finishers would be in single-player games. So, add me to the pile. I like that aspect.
Yeah, it encourages a kill or be killed sort of mentality, which I think you really need for a single-player game to just keep the pace going. Because too many times, I've even done this I love Halo, but every time I get a little health, I was like, fuck.
Hide in a corner.
You get really careful, and you start resorting to slow, boring ways of killing things. Yeah, I played Halo Anniversary and Halo Reach, and I've been there. Halo Reach especially.
Yeah.
Something about the way that game was designed just did not gel as well as Anniversary for some reason. I think it was the wide open areas. There were just too many directions the enemies could come at you from. It kind of felt
what
like
did that robot ever do to you, man? Come on, leave it alone.
It kind of felt like some of the areas in that game would have been better used in a multiplayer kind of game, but
This game does have multiplayer though, which is weird.
Oh yeah,
is it good?
It has.
No one plays it, as far as I know.
Sort of. Well, some people play it. It was designed by a different team from the single-player game. It was outsourced essentially. There's also Snap Map, which lets you create multiplayer, I think, co-op maps and share them with other players. which is interesting. The Switch version doesn't have that, though.
It does. It's a separate, massively huge download.
Oh.
Yeah, that's a big thing with a lot of Switch releases right now is that you'll, like, for Bayonetta 1 and 2 and Resident Evil Revelations, they'll give you one of the games on a cart and the other game is a download code. So there is no
LA
physical...
Noire is also LA Noire is also particularly bad with that. That game was gargantuan on the PS3.
Vita did the same thing for the Final Fantasy X HD remaster collection. You'd get 10.
Really?
You get 10 physical, and 10.2 would be the digital download.
You get 10 and 2 Dress Spheres in 10.2. You gotta download the rest.
What are you talking about? This game's graphics aren't that great. Man.
Anyway, one of the cool secrets is that hidden within each level, there's a small room from the original Doom games. And if you clear it out, you can access the map that room belonged to from the level select menu as its own standalone stage.
Oh, so you can play the whole level
nice.
From the original Doom games?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
that's neat.
Yeah, it's very neat. It's also extremely gratifying because this game also has an option for where you put the gun when it's sitting in front of your skateboard.
classic Doom mode where it just puts the gun right in the center of the screen.
Yeah, so we can only assume it's coming out of your chest. Yeah.
I have seen that picture where it's like Duke Nukem or Doom Guy and their arm is coming straight out of their chest.
Out of their
To be honest, the modern off to the side, off center gun placement isn't much better when you consider what a gun would look like if you were holding it and actually seeing it first person. Basically, you'd have to be holding most of the guns really close to your face for it to look like this from your point of view.
Now, my favorite is first-person shooter guys climbing ladders, where it shows them holding, you know how they just kind of go up the ladder?
Gun, just levitating up.
Yeah. Or they're like at 90 degrees and their feet are on the ladder, they're just walking straight up.
That's great. Like the only games that really get close to being immersive from a first-person perspective are games like, say, Stalker, which has the only fault I can really have is it has a little too much foot wobble when you walk, and Resident Evil 7, which has a lot of nice little idling animations and stuff to make it look like you're a person holding a gun rather than a camera with a gun duct taped to the side.
And Ethan clearly has no gun training.
Well, he probably has some. He's a dude from Texas, but still. I mean,
What,
the
are you
dude's a
stereotyping?
badass. He can reload a handgun one-handed. It's not as easy as you'd think.
Have you tried?
Yeah, you
Hey,
just go click.
I haven't had a hand cut off. Come on. But for serious though, I love the fast pace of this game, and I don't just mean the movement speed. Everything is quick and snappy, and that's a thing that's been very much missing from a lot of first-person shooters, because apparently that kind of game is too gamey for a lot of people. And you know, if you want to be, if you want to tell a serious story, I can understand going that direction. But you know, something that I think games like Doom, Resident Evil 7, Super Mario Odyssey even have done in recent
Super Mario Odyssey is my favorite first-person shooter.
I'm not just talking about first-person shooters. I'm just talking about game design in general. There are like several kinds of game that have phased out of existence and made a resurgence, and we haven't seen much middle ground until these last 2 years between indie games that are doing things really fucking old school and games that are sticking completely to modern conventions. With the 3 games I mentioned, Doom, Odyssey, Resident Evil 7, they take these old school design mentalities and mix them with modern conventions in a way that really, really works. And I think what we can take from that is that these design philosophies aren't entirely obsolete, like people like to say when they're championing their newer games. It's more that we just sort of dropped them and didn't explore what other potential was left over.
I think modern gamers got their, for lack of a better description, cinematic taste in the middle and tail end of the PS3, Xbox 360 era with Uncharted and Last of Us taking the helm. And not to say that will ever go away, because honestly, we're still looking forward to some games like that, such as Horizon Zero Dawn. I thought was a good blend of both.
Yeah.
Really snappy modern aesthetics and a good story. But at the same time, I think there's always a market for something like Doom and such, because at the end of the day, sometimes you want a good story, or sometimes you just want to punch a demon in the dick. I get over things.
The point I want to drive at is variety is good for the goddamn industry, and I think that developers and publishers should keep that in mind. Balance what you're making. You can make your slower-paced cinematic story-based games, your completely modern conventional games, your third-person action games, your Dad of Wars, and you could, but that doesn't mean there's no room for stuff that takes a lot of hints from the classics.
But everything has to be games as service now.
BrainScratch Comms is now implementing a loot box system. You can get a random chance to be able to post your comment.
Okay,
if you pay $6.99.
Don't even joke about that, because YouTube has a system for that. It's called Super Chat.
Oh God, really?
Yes.
Darn it! Get $1 per loot box, and you might unlock, Johnny's commentary, Lewis's commentary, Ted's commentary, or my commentary.
Or you might get a repeat of this Ted sticker that you could put on your wall.
I think it might actually be enabled on our channel, but we do YouTube live streams so infrequently that it hardly fucking matters. So,
Ted, enable super chat.
How?
I don't know.
Everyone in the chat gets superpowers.
Yeah. So, this entire first level, by the way, is the Doom demo.
Yep.
So, you can really get a great taste of what this game is like just by playing through it. It's one of the, it's a really good level for a demo too, and it's, as you can see from the part length here, fairly long. It's got a fair amount of stuff going on in terms of variety too, so you can mess around with the gameplay systems and see what the upgrades are like, I think.
Yeah, and just so you know, this is, I think, one of only 2 levels that are 1 level per part. Everything else will be split into 2 parts, just because they get pretty long.
Yeah, they do.
It also helps that you're going after collectibles and secrets.
Yeah.
So.
Well, yeah, you can beat them pretty quickly if you're just doing the bare minimum, but...
Yeah. Level designs in Doom, and this goes right back to the original, are very maze-like. And that's a level design mentality that carried over into other games from around that time, Duke Nukem 3D and Shadow Warrior, which was basically Duke Nukem without Duke Nukem. Same company, different character. I like Shadow Warrior better than Duke Nukem.
Well, Duke Nukem also has the problem of not aging a single second past 1996.
Duke Nukem was ridiculous when he was born. So Shadow Warrior is at least, funny in a way that I can stomach. Duke Nukem is eye roll funny, and not the kind of eye roll funny that I particularly enjoy. So I don't really feel inclined to go back to Duke Nukem 3D. But Shadow Warrior, I can. What the hell blew him up?
He tried to shoot at me, hit a barrel, and killed himself.
Yeah.
You looked at him.
That can happen.
Oh no, Doom Guy's here!
And then, immediately, to balance the karma, you go and blow up a barrel and hurt yourself.
Yeah, but I survive.
Well, yeah.
Now here's something that does change depending on the difficulty level. Enemies will often drop more health if you're lower on health.
Yeah.
What difficulty are you playing this game on?
Hurt me plenty, which is normal.
Normal?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh yeah, I forgot that Doom has the
super edgy difficulty names.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just a carryover from the first game it's just
I think the easiest one is called "I'm Too Young to Die."
Yeah.
Well, it's a charming kind of old school callback. Like, there's Duke Nukem, which goes like super over the top on everything, and then there's Doom, which goes a little bit of the ridiculousness here and there, just enough to keep it flavorful.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Duke Nukem 3D basically plays just like the original Doom did, right?
I don't know. I think it might have been one of the later FPSs that had implemented vertical aiming and such.
Okay. All right. I am not familiar with most of those games.
It's hard for me to speak definitively on it, because I think the only version I ever saw was the console version.
Okay.
And I'm not sure what the difference is between console FPSs and console and PC ones were at the time, but they tended to be pretty large. It wasn't until Alien Resurrection that people figured out an actually good control scheme for console FPSs. So,
Yeah. Okay. So what have you guys played of the original Doom? like at all?
The first episode, because
Okay.
it was divided into 5 sort of DLC chapter-like games.
Oh,
I've
okay.
played through the first episode and a bit of the second. I haven't finished the entire game, though.
Okay. 'Cause-
I played bits and pieces of like whatever was around at the time. So whatever those missions were, just like bits and pieces of them.
Okay, because it is the first Doom and the second Doom are literally $5 on Steam, and they go down to like 1 during a sale. So whenever that happens again, I'm gonna probably play them and then die a lot because I'm not good at shooters at all.
I mean, they're good games, but they've clearly aged. So you
Yeah.
kind of have to go in knowing that.
Yeah.
Well, we can talk more about that in the next part. We're way over the limit now.
Yeah.
See you next time, everybody.